The cold was everywhere. It bit through her uniform, through her gloves, through her skin. Lieutenant Sarah Voss opened her eyes slowly. Smoke floated above her. A sharp pain filled her side. She was lying in a half-destroyed escape pod. Sparks jumped from broken panels. Warning lights flashed red. She didn't remember the crash. The last thing she saw was her ship, the Titan hammer, shaking under enemy fire. Alarms blared, her team shouted over each other. Then silence, blackness died now. Only her breath echoed in her helmet. Sarah pushed herself up, gritting her teeth. The escape pod's hatch was bent, almost sealed shut. She pushed hard, metal groaning, until finally it opened with a sharp crack. Cold wind blasted her face as she stepped outside. The sky above was dark, with 2 moons barely shining through thick clouds. Strange stars hung overhead. This was not any Earth system. The planet's surface was gray, cracked, lifeless. She was alone on an alien moon. Her radio clicked, but no voice replied. She was completely alone. For a few minutes she stood still, breathing slowly. She checked her oxygen 45%, her food rations, damaged weapon, just a basic sidearm with 1 battery left. She looked around. The pod had created a small crater in the distance. Strange shapes moved in the fog, sharp rocks, or maybe something else she had to move. Sarah walked carefully across the rough surface. Watching every step, the gravity was light. Her boots made soft thuds, leaving long trails. Then she saw it. Footprints, but not human. 3 toes, long, deep. They led away from her crash site. She knelt down and touched the marks. Fresh. Her heart beat faster. The aliens had found the crash. They had seen it. Maybe they thought she was dead. Maybe they were watching her now. Sarah pulled her small sidearm and held it tight. "You want me?" she whispered. "Come get me." She didn't mean it. She didn't want to fight. She just wanted to survive until Earth came. If Earth was even coming, she walked toward a hill, hoping to find higher ground. From there she might see more, maybe signal someone. As she climbed, the wind grew louder, like whispers, like voices. At the top, she stopped and gasped. Down below, across a wide valley, was a massive alien base. Dark towers rose from the ground, connected by glowing bridges. Ships floated in and out, small scout vessels scanning the land. Blue lights blinked in patterns. It looked like a city built from bones and metal. She zoomed her visor in and saw them, aliens, tall, armored, skins like stone. They carried long rifles that hummed with power. Some were gathered around a human escape pod, another one, not hers. They dragged someone out, a body. Not moving. Sarah's hand shook. She recognized the suit. One of her crew, dead. The alien lifted the body with one hand and threw it aside like trash. Sarah's breath caught. Her teeth clenched. She wanted to scream, but she stayed still. "Okay," she whispered. "Now I know what you are." She moved back down the hill, slowly, carefully. No fast moves, no noise. If they saw her, it was over. She needed to stay alive. She needed to tell Earth what was happening here. She remembered the emergency beacon built into every pod, a signal that would reach any passing ship or even a long-range Earth relay if it was strong enough. But the beacon on her pod was dead, broken, destroyed in the crash. She had one option left, a drone. Every escape pod carried a mic. Hers was smashed, but maybe the one near the body she just saw, maybe it was still working. She looked back at the alien base. It was far dangerous, but she had to go there. She needed that drone. She needed to send a message because she now knew the truth. The aliens thought she was alone, but Earth was already coming, and if she could survive one more night, the stars might burn for her. Sarah lay under the broken ridge, her body pressed close to the cold ground. The air was still. Her breath fogged her visor. She could hear them now, dash footsteps. Slow, heavy. 3 alien soldiers walked past her hiding spot. They moved like machine stole, armored, skin shining under their helmets. Their rifles glowed blue, crackling with power. She didn't move, didn't blink. One stopped. Its head turned slightly. Sarah held her breath. If it saw her, it would shoot without warning. The alien looked around, then spoke in a strange voice, deep and metallic. She couldn't understand the language, but one word was clear: Earthling. Then they walked away. Sarah didn't move until they were gone. When the sound of footsteps faded into the wind, she slowly sat up. Her heart was racing. Sweat rolled down her neck. They were hunting, looking for survivors. And she was the last one left. She looked at the alien base again. It was still lit, still alive. A small patrol ship flew over her, scanning the ground with a red beam. She dropped to the ground just in time. The beam passed over her but didn't stop. She crawled forward on her elbows. She had one goal, the other escape pod. The body of her crew member was still there. The aliens had left it, but Sarah knew the microdrone inside the suit might still work. If she could reach it, she could use its signal booster to send a message to Earth. She moved across the cracked ground slowly, hiding behind rocks and wreckage. The moon's surface offered little cover. Every movement had to be silent. Minutes passed. Finally, she reached the edge of the alien base. She spotted the body. It lay near a fuel tank, half covered in dust. Sarah moved quickly. She pulled the drone case from the body's back. It was still sealed. She opened it carefully. The drone's screen blinked. It had power. Not much, but enough. She smiled. Then she heard something, a soft hum. A patrol bot hovered nearby. It had no eyes, but it scanned in every direction. It was close. Too close. She crouched behind a crate and froze. The bot paused, beeped, then turned. Sarah took a breath and moved fast. She ran behind a fuel pipe and slid down a slope. The drone still in her hand. She didn't stop until she reached the shadow of a broken rock tower. She opened the drone's signal panel, just like training. She typed quickly, fingers cold. She wrote, Survivor LT Sarah Voss, Moonbase under alien control. Immediate strike. Needed. Coordinates attached. She sent it. The screen blinked. Message sent. She smiled. Then the drone went. Dark. Battery empty. She hid the drone under rocks in case they found her. Then she heard it. A voice dashed close. An alien soldier stood just above her. It hadn't seen her yet, but it was moving fast. Others were coming. They had found the body. They would know someone had taken the drone. Sarah moved quickly, heading away. From the base, back toward the hills. Behind her, alien voices shouted. A sharp alarm echoed. They knew. The hunt was starting again, but she didn't care. She had done what she came for now. It was just a matter of time. Earth had hurt her, she hoped, as she climbed into the rocks. She looked at the stars above. One day, soon, fire would fall from them, and the aliens would learn what it meant to threaten a soldier of Earth. Sarah lay under a broken metal sheet, shaking from cold and pain. Her side still hurt from the fall. The ground trembled slightly as alien patrols marched nearby. Their voices echoed through the rocky moon valley, sharp and angry. They knew she was still alive. And now, they were searching harder. She held the drone in her hand. The screen was still dead. The message was sent, but had it reached Earth? She didn't know. All she could do now was stay hidden. Suddenly a strange light appeared in the sky. Blue, fast, flashing. Sarah blinked. It wasn't from the alien base. It was high, too high. Her heart jumped to signal. She crawled out from under the sheet and looked up. The clouds moved slowly. The light was still there, blinking almost like Morse code. Not alien, human. Earth might have seen her message. She stood quickly, her breath fogging the air. She waved toward the sky, knowing they wouldn't see her, but it didn't matter. They were coming. But then a sound cracked through the air. A high-pitched shriek. She turned and saw a flying drone diving toward her. Its red eye glowed. It had found her. Sarah ran. The drone shot at her, blasts tearing into the rocks. She jumped over a ledge and rolled, cutting her arm on the ground. Her helmet cracked slightly. She didn't stop. The drone circled above. It fired again. She ducked behind a rock, her sidearm ready. She had only one shot, one battery cell. She waited, listened. The hum grew louder. Then she fired. The shot hit the drones. Boom. The drone spun out of control and crashed into the ground, sparks flying. She didn't wait. She kept running deeper into the hills. Behind her, alien alarms began to howl again. They knew where she was, but she didn't care. The signal in the sky had given her hope. If Earth got the message, they wouldn't send just help, they'd send power. She reached a small cave under the rocks. Inside, it was dark but safe for now. She tore a piece of fabric from her sleeve and tied it around her bleeding arm. Then she checked the small screen in her helmet again. No new messages. No reply. But something was happening above. She could feel it. Sarah remembered the stories. Earth Command didn't leave soldiers behind. They had a silent rule. If one falls, 10 rise. If they knew she was alive, they would burn the skies to bring her back. The aliens didn't understand that. They thought she was weak. They thought she was alone, but she wasn't. As she sat in the dark cave, she pulled out a small photo from her suit pocket. Her squad, her family, all smiling. Most of them were now gone. She closed her eyes and whispered, just a little longer. Outside, the ground shook again. This time it wasn't footsteps, it was something falling from orbit. It smiled. The cave shook. Dust rained down from above. Sarah opened her eyes and stared toward the entrance. The rumble came again, stronger this time. She crawled forward and peeked outside. The sky had changed. Blue flashes lit up the clouds. Something huge was entering the moon's atmosphere. It didn't move like a comet. It was controlled, fast, bright. She gasped. A ship, not alien. Earth. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She didn't blink. She just stared. After all the pain, all the silence, someone had heard her. Then she saw it. A long, sharp beam of light shot up from the alien base. A missile. The Earth ship tried to dodge. It failed. A fireball exploded across the sky. Pieces of the ship broke apart and burned. One large chunk crashed miles away, shaking the ground with a deep boom. Sarah's chest tightened. No, 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 she whispered. She started running toward the smoke. Her legs were weak, but she pushed herself forward. The wreckage wasn't far. If anything had survived, she had to reach it first. After 15 minutes, she found it, a pod. Half buried in the ground. Metal torn. Sparks everywhere. She climbed inside through a broken panel. Bodies. Bodies too. Earth soldiers dead, burned, but one thing still glowed. A working unit. Sarah grabbed it and powered it up. The signal was weak, flickering, but it was open. She adjusted the frequency, breathing hard. "This is Lieutenant Sarah Voss," she said quickly. "I'm alive. Alien base still active. Coordinates marked. Strike now. Strike hard." She sent it then again. Then again the screen blinked. Message received. She sat back and closed her eyes for a second. Her hand shook. Her body ached, but she wasn't finished. She crawled out and looked at the base in the distance. More lights were moving. The aliens were coming. They had seen the crash to dot. She had to slow them down. She searched the wreckage, found a fuel cell, then a pack of plasma grenades. "Let's make them panic," she whispered. She set the grenades around the wreckage and linked them to her suit's timer. Then she hid nearby, behind a low ridge. Alien soldiers arrived fast. They spread out, scanning the wreckage. Sarah waited, then pressed the trigger. Boom! A massive explosion lit the sky. Fire burst out in every direction. Alien bodies flew into the air. She smiled. One less squad to worry about. But then the screen on the comm unit beeped. Again, new message. Earth fleet in range. Preparing orbital strike. Confirm enemy target. Confirm enemy target. Sarah stared at the base. Far away, it was time. She tapped the screen and sent the final signal. Strike confirmed. Burn them all. Moments later, the sky above the alien base turned bright like sunrise. Blue streaks rained down from orbit. Earth's warships had arrived. Missiles screamed through the air. The alien towers exploded one by one. Fire spread across the dark moon. The aliens screamed. Sarah could hear them even from this far. "And," she whispered, "now you know what Earth does when you hurt its own." The ground shook under Sarah's feet. She could barely stand. The sky burned blue above her, filled with falling light. Earth's warships had arrived in full force. The alien base was under heavy attack. From far away, she saw fire tearing through alien towers. Smoke poured into the sky. But Sarah wasn't safe. Not yet. A deep noise rolled across the land. Alien gunships launched from underground hangars, rising like angry insects. They fired at the Earth ships above, red beams flashing back and forth across the sky. A battle had begun. Sarah ran toward a small ridge for cover. The comm device in her hand crackled again. "Lieutenant Voss, this is Earth Fleet Recon. Drop pods incoming. Hold your position." She smiled for the first time in days. Help was near, but behind her. Movement. She turned fast. A group of alien soldiers climbed over the ridge, weapons aimed. The commander, a tall figure in black armor, pointed at her. He shouted something she couldn't understand, but his meaning was clear. "Take her alive." Sarah jumped behind a rock as the first blast hit near her. The force threw her sideways. Her sidearm flew out of her hand. She crawled, trying to reach it, but another shot exploded nearby. Her helmet cracked further. Her arm burned. She was out of time. Then she saw an old alien fuel tank, rusted but still active. An idea hit her. She reached into her belt and grabbed the last plasma charge. Her hands shook. She pulled the pin and threw it. It stuck to the side of the tank. The aliens saw it too late. Boom! The explosion ripped through the ridge. Heat, fire, and smoke filled the air. Rocks flew in every direction. The shockwave threw Sarah backward. She hit the ground hard. Everything went quiet for a few seconds. She couldn't move. Just the sound of ringing in her ears. Her vision blurred. Her suit flashed warning lights. Oxygen low. Armor damaged. She blinked slowly and looked around. The alien squad was gone, burned or buried. She rolled over, coughing hard. She tried to stand, but her legs felt weak. Her side throbbed with pain. Her arm was bleeding still. She smiled. She had survived again. Then a shadow fell over her. She looked up. A shape was coming down from the sky. Fast, big, a drop pod. It crashed into the ground just meters away, kicking up dirt and dust. Its doors blew open. Earth Marines jumped out, weapons ready. One ran to her. "Lieutenant Voss." She nodded weakly. "Took you long enough," she whispered. He laughed and helped her up. "We're getting you out of here. Hold tight." She leaned on him, barely able to walk. Other Marines moved past her, firing toward distant alien bunkers. Drones flew overhead, scanning the battlefield. Above, the Earth fleet lit up the sky with strikes. One alien ship exploded in midair, breaking into burning pieces. It was war. Now real war, but Earth was winning. Sarah looked back at the burning alien base. This was just the beginning, and Earth had answered loudly. Sarah's boots dragged in the dirt as the Marine helped her walk toward the drop pod. Smoke still floated in the sky. The Earth fleet above kept firing. Explosions echoed across the dead moon, but she was safe now, finally. Her helmet was cracked. Her face bloody. She could barely see. Her side burned with every step, but inside her heart, a fire still burned. She had survived. She had fought. And Earth had come for her. A second Marine rushed to her side. He placed a scanner near her chest. Vitals low but stable. "Let's get her inside." She was lowered into the drop pod gently. She looked around at the soldiers. Young, strong, focused. "Earth's best. You're the reason we're here," one said, smiling. "Your signal went straight to High Command." Sarah nodded, but her voice was weak. "They thought I was alone." "You weren't," the Marine replied. "You never were." The pod door shut. Inside, she heard the sound of engines warming. The med unit injected pain blockers into her arm. The world began to blur, but she stayed awake, just enough to see the pod lift off the surface. Through the small window, she saw the moon grow smaller beneath her. Alien structures burned. Earth troops spread across the battlefield, pushing the enemy back. Her body ached, but her heart was calmed. Up above, one of Earth's largest ships waited to carry her. Its name glowed on the side, ESS Retribution. The pod docked inside as the doors opened. Doctors and officers rushed forward. A woman in a black command coat stood among them. Lieutenant Voss, the commander said softly, "You did more than survive. You gave us a target." Sarah tried to sit up. "We can't stop. They'll do this again." To others, "We need to finish it." The commander nodded. "We already started. This moon will be wiped clean. Then we move to their stronghold." Sarah's voice cracked. "Promise me, no one else left behind." The commander touched her shoulder. "Never again." Sarah was moved to the medbay, but even there she could hear the sounds of orders being shouted, engines roaring, strikes being launched. She wasn't just a survivor now. She was the spark. The fleet moved because of her. The soldiers fought harder because of her story. And the enemy feared her. She had heard rumors alien prisoners were whispering her name. They called her something strange in their language, but when translated, it meant the ghost of the moon. She had become a symbol. The one who wouldn't die, the one Earth came back for, and the one Earth would avenge. The stars were calm now. The battle was over. From the window of the medical bay, Sarah looked out at the dark side of the moon. It didn't look like the same place. Smoke still drifted over the rocks, but the alien towers were gone. Turned to ash. The Earth fleet had done its job, and it had done it fast. She had been asleep for 12 hours. Her body was healing, but her thoughts were clear. This war was no longer about her. It was about the message. Sarah sat up slowly. The doctor tried to stop her, but she waved him off. She walked down the long hallway of the ship, her steps slow but firm. When she entered the command room, officers stood straight. They had seen her message. They had watched her fight. Now they called her the signal. Earth's command had already shared her story across the colonies. News channels showed her broken helmet, her final stand, her escape. Millions had watched. But across the galaxy, something else was happening. Alien species, those who once worked together, were now silent, their leaders afraid, their soldiers shaken. A human had survived their trap alone, and lived long enough to call down fire from the sky. The same alien race that once mocked humanity was now sending warnings to others. "Do not provoke Earth. They come for their own." Back on the bridge, the commander stepped forward. "Lieutenant Voss, we're preparing a second strike. The enemy homeworld. You led us to their gates. You should see this." She nodded. On the giant screen, a red planet appeared. The alien capital, fortified, dangerous, waiting. The fleet began to move. Warships adjusted course. Engines flared. Sarah watched quietly. "Do we have the full fleet?" she asked. The commander smiled. "Every ship in 3 sectors, 10,000 Marines. No more hiding. No more silence." Sarah closed her eyes for a moment. She could still hear the whispers, the screams, the silence in the cave, the fire in the sky. Now Earth spoke back, not in words but in force. Outside the window, stars blinked as the ships moved together, a formation, like a storm. Earth had been quiet too long. Now it was rising, she whispered to herself. "You thought I was alone, but Earth was already coming."